So, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Um, so I thought maybe following a conversation I had earlier on today, maybe we look at what is the missing component in mental health. There's something missing. So I read an article, I think I put it on my social media as well the other day, that they did an analysis on mental disorders of the last 10 or 15 years. Anxiety is increased by, I don't know, 160%, depression by X 100%. Autism, since they changed the diagnosis, disorder, um, increased by 160%. And the crux of this article was that the more you define the disorder, the more people are ill. In fact, they even wished to describe the disorder that if someone raped someone, it was a mental disorder. That's how far this was going. It's the DSM, which is the Bible of all mental diagnosis, all of it. And it's increased since it started in about 1957 or something like that. And every so often they have an update, and every so often they increase the disorder list. And coincidentally, the drugs appear for those disorders as well at the same time, right? And what you've now got a situation, and with this is why what's happening in the USA is quite an interesting change, where they're questioning this. The man in charge of the health, which used to be, I think, Fauci before or whoever he was, um, with this Kennedy chap, he's looking at it in a very different way, and he's questioning things. He's asking some questions which are very difficult, and no one wants to talk about them. For example, the relationship between vaccination and autism. No one wants to talk about that. And if you dare mention that, then what comes out of it is, are you against vaccination? And you can't defend that because you can't speak about that. At the moment you do, you become the anti-vaxxer and off it goes, right? Another way of ostracizing you, but not having a discussion. Very similar to some religions. When you question the religious teachings, they either punish you or they kill you. And the same is true for some of this stuff. Interesting relationship between mass shooters in the USA and the use of SSRI antipsychotics, Prozac and various other things. Interesting relationship. It is harder to come off some of these SRIs drugs than it is coming off heroin, as some of the feedback that comes back. So you have to ask yourself the question, where does this take the population in another 10 years? Already you've got individuals who are finding it extremely distressful to do one day's work, particularly those individuals, some of the younger people. They're finding it very stressful. Unable to cope, children unable to cope at school, unable to cope because of anxiety so bad. Parents unable to discipline, teachers unable to discipline. So you have an unruly mind. You say we have an unruly child. No, we have an unruly mind. So the mind is being diseased at a number of different levels. So when I talk about the mind being diseased, there are different types of diseases. There's a virus that will, or a bacteria, or a pathogen, or a toxin, or a venom that if you inject it into your body or you get it into your body, it will then damage the physiology of the body. Heart rate beats faster or slows, or your kidneys malfunction, or your liver malfunctions. So this is when something goes in here. But once something is placed, a virus is placed within the mind, the first thing is you don't even know it's there because you have no understanding of the mind, let alone what infects it. It's only when you understood what the body is that you could understand what the malfunction of the body was. Yeah. Even this idea of chemical imbalance in the brain is what it determines depression. Even that started to, well, not started, these been a number of years now. Even that's seen as nonsense. Yes, the chemicals do change within your body, but it's your mental attitude, it's your self talk, it is your thoughts that create your reality. We don't understand this at the moment, but it is so fundamental. Your thoughts and your words create your reality. And this isn't just about, well, let me give you a simple example. 20 minutes ago, no, let's start now. Right this moment, you know where you are, and you know the people that are around you. You know the things that are around you. You know the place you're around. Yeah. Only because you are here now, you know all of this. 20 minutes ago, you weren't here. So you didn't know all of this. You're completely ignorant of this. This did not exist, but you still were, right? So your mind interprets things depending on where you place it. Wherever you place it, perception changes. So if we had, for example, a number of people here who were, I don't know, dressed in shamanic gear, we think, oh, we're in a shamanic workshop. Our perception is infected, is impacted, and we create the perception. Now, before you came in, a room full of people sat dressed up in indigenous kit. I was out there and I said, do you know what? Anyone who doesn't wear this kind of clothes, is not well. And I teach you this before you come in here. And as soon as you come in here, you look at everyone and you think, God, these are not well people. Because your perception's been infected. Yeah. Do you understand where I'm going with this? So, first, we don't understand how the mind is influenced. We are categorically brainwashed, categorically, in the way you think, in what you consider to be good, what you consider to be human rights, what you consider to be bad, who you consider to be bad, sin, virtue, all of this stuff isn't yours. It's been given to you, it's been implanted in you. And then you use that lens to judge everyone and everything, including yourself. So the mind, when I talk about the mind as a container has within it a little working activity. Activity. Like you have a heart system, you have your circulation system, your nervous system. You also have your egoic system, your identity, which I will demonstrate to you how unruly your mind is. If you were to simply close your eyes for a minute and in your mind's eye, in your field of awareness, drew a purple triangle, my challenge to you is, can you maintain your focus on that for the next 30 seconds? And you can all try it and see how long it lasts. And soon enough, you discover that as much as you want to try it, it does its own thing. Sometimes it changes shape. Sometimes you want to hold it, but it's not there. Sometimes the mind moves. Sometimes the shape moves. Sometimes you start thinking about something. A noise distracts you. So who's in charge? So who's in charge? So the mind is undisciplined. This brings out the undisciplined behavior. That's it. By allowing individuals to understand, not to discipline. When I say discipline, this isn't like that, you're going to cane yourself and beat yourself. It's not that. Here I'm talking about self regulation, disciplining yourself, seeing what your little patterns are. And the only way to do that is by being present. And the only way to do that is the side effect of being present is that you will find how quickly your mind is distracted. Your thoughts, your stories, your emotions, how quickly they come and go. And this gives you an idea. This gives you an understanding. Sorry, not an idea, an understanding, an experience how difficult it is to discipline the mind. And so, trying to clear the mind, you must have heard this, oh, your meditation, trying to empty the mind. You can't. It can't be done. You can't make wetness dry. The nature of the mind, like the saliva in your mouth, is constant. The mind will keep going. That's its nature. Its nature is activity. It's energetic. Energy doesn't sit, energy is always moving. So, how can your mind be still? Consciousness, on the other hand, is stillness. When you do your little bit of meditation and you are graced enough, because it's like sleep. As much as you want to try and get to sleep, it just doesn't necessarily happen, right? Meditation is similar. You just follow the steps. You get in a bed, you're warm, blah blah blah, no light. Same thing with meditation. You just go posture, breath, focus, and so forth. And by default, if you're graced enough, you fall in that space where there's a level of stillness and silence. Now, in that space of stillness and silence, you have some stability. There's a level of stability. And you begin to see, and yes, you may be distracted from it, but you begin to see how you can separate yourself from it, how you can distance yourself from it. Distance yourself, diffuse, that's the word. Diffuse yourself from your mental content, from the story you're telling yourself. Because the stories that you and I are telling ourselves creates our reality, whatever it is. So if I'm sitting here telling you a story, whatever I'm telling myself is because I'm perceiving something here, right? So knowing through practice that you're able to separate, yeah, that's your formal practice. That's what you have to discipline yourself to do. Every time you sit, do it about 10 days, 15 days. When you sit, the mind already knows what the next stage is. It already knows. So I tell many of students that I work with or individuals and say, well, I sit, but my mind is all over the place. Doesn't matter. Sit. Discipline yourself. Give yourself 10 minutes. Not asking for a lot. 10 minutes. Discipline. Discipline the body. With the body, discipline the mind. And how do you discipline the mind? Through focus. How do you do that? Use things that are happening in the present moment. One, breath. Now, then there is this other thing, well, I just can't get into the breath. All right. If you sat in your meditation, I don't wish to trigger anyone, but I'll say it as it is. If you sit in your meditation knowing that this may be the last time you meditate, how would you approach it? Or if you were going to have, I don't know, go out for a walk, or if you were going to um, have a meal. Present moment requires, has another quality to it. It doesn't require, has another quality to it. And that quality to it is a level of vulnerability. The ego feels vulnerable when we become present. But in that vulnerability, in the stillness and the silence, there is this bigger stability that gives you your trust, your sense of security, your sense of safety. So, what am I saying to you? What I'm trying to say to you is this, my friends. Without disciplining, first, without understanding the mind, you can't discipline. In order to discipline it, you need a method, and that's your meditation. Now, the mind itself, just to give you a little bit more, the mind that I'm talking about, the egoic complex, is normally split in two. There's loads of them. There's normally loads. There's not one of you in there. There's loads of you sitting in there. There's a one that wants to do the gardening. There's a one that wants to sit with the parents. There's a one that wants to go to the toilet. There's all these different ones. And they're always fighting each other, right? So if you try and fix the mind with the mind, you can't do it. It's like trying to see the eye with the eye. It can't be done. Taste the tongue with the tongue. It can't be done. Right? So we need to learn what is it. And what this basic education can be a game changer. And that is this little thing that's going on within you, that little self-talk, self-image, all of that stuff is artificially created. And you and I have got the ability to step out of it. And to step out of it, it means you're not stuck in it. It means you're able to come out of what the disorder may be. Yeah. So I started off with this whole diagnosis of everything just increasing and increasing and increasing. Why is it increasing? Is because we don't understand just simple facts that anxiety is caused by the mind's thinking about the future. And if the more you think about the future, the more anxious you're going to get. The more you think about the past, the more if, why not, all of that brings regret, brings depression, brings anger. Once we begin to understand that the mind creates the emotion creates the imbalance in you, and the imbalance leads to your action, whether it is, behaving in a rowdy way, or whether it's withdrawn. It's all to do with that. The thoughts create the emotional space. The emotional space create the balance or imbalance, which then you, to protect yourself or to exert yourself, take that particular behavior. Simple, basic understanding of how the ego works. Yeah. Ego is always on self-preservation, always trying to protect itself. Always, and how does it protect itself? By reiterating the same stuff it knows. Yeah, same stuff. So once you begin to recognize the patterns, you know where the source of the illness is. Because all the sources of all mental illness is your ego. That's it. Learn its nature, learn to recognize it, learn to see its patterns, and you will find that actually you can step out of that particular self-image. You've got the ability. That's the empowerment. And once you can do that, it opens the floodgates to realizing the level of potential that you have as a human being. So all roads to health begin with meditation. Why? Because the root of health is the mind. And so two things, discipline and the understanding how it works. Those two things can become your game changer. So as a takeaway, this is where it's at. The mental construct that you have within you, I have, etc., whatever you call it, your self-image is a artificial construct. It is always on self-preservation. It will always run towards those things that give it security and run away from those things that freak it out. And why? Because it's ignorant about itself. It actually believes it to be the real thing. You actually believe the nonsense you tell yourself. We all do. Yeah. So, recognizing that this is nothing more than just mental activity, that you have the capacity to either engage in it or not. Recognizing that allows you a key out of your mental distress. Yeah. So we leave it at that today, I think. I was going to tell you a story, but I've forgotten now. I will. I will. Because I think it's related. Okay, so there's this one individual, right, who has, over a period of time, tried many different diets, but really nothing's worked. Nothing's worked. Been to all the doctors, all the clinics, all the retreats, ain't worked nothing. In fact, if anything, the individual has gained so much weight that it is now beginning to affect his health. So he goes to someone says to him, look, you're going to have to go to a mystic, a guru of a sort. He said, what can he do? Because is he magician? He said, no, 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 just go and talk to this particular teacher. So he goes to this particular teacher and he says, look, first thing is, if you tell me to stop eating, I can't do it. Right? He said, no, I'm not going to tell you to do that. In fact, I want you to eat, but only on one condition, that you have to stand naked in front of a mirror and eat what you want. A few months later, he comes back and he says, that's a miracle. That's an amazing diet. Yeah, the mirror diet. Is there something special about it? And he said, yeah, it's only when we face our uncomfortable truths can we change. And the same is true here. It's only when we face the nature of our own patterns and recognize it's not you that you have the capacity to change. So if you do want to lose weight, the mirror diet is trademarked by Dove, right? Okay. All right. So let's begin with our meditation. So as usual, we always begin with our breath. With our posture. Straightening your back. Closing your eyes. And pull your shoulders back. So your chest feels open. And if you pull your chin in slightly, and you want to be sitting with a level of self-confidence, yeah, always helps. And then as you draw your breath in, you want to bring your focus to your body and begin to notice your posture. And it's very deliberate. And we want to look for any discomfort in the body itself. So this could be a pain, could be a tightness, could be an itch. Adjust your body so you're comfortable. Okay. Next, you're going to imagine there's a hula hoop above your head, and this hoop lights up your body as it goes down. And so it begins from the top of your head, and as it moves down, it begins to expose any sensations that are present on the top of your head, moving down to your forehead, your eyes, your jaw, slowly moving down your neck, and then from your shoulders, allow this awareness to move down, scanning your body for any sensation that's present, all the way down. Again, you're going to draw the next breath in and bring your focus to your body as best as you can. And again, just take a quick scan to notice if that scan has identified any sensations in the body. Next, you're going to bring your focus to the seat you're on and allow yourself to locate yourself. And by this, notice that the ground beneath you is solid, holds you in place. Notice that the air around you, the space around you, holds you. You can't be anywhere else. And if you focus at your breath, you will notice you can only breathe from the air that's in front of you. Taking your focus back to the seat you're on. And now you're going to notice there are sensations in the body where the seat makes contact with your body. From those sensations, you're going to move your focus up, becoming aware of your hips, and then gently move your focus down your thighs towards your knees. From your knees, you move down towards your ankles, scanning the back of your legs, scanning the front of your legs. Notice your feet, and then moving your focus to the soles of your feet. Next breath in, bring your focus back to the chair that you're on. Notice the chair holds you so you can afford to relax a little bit. You're not going to go anywhere. Notice your back is straight. And then gently bring your focus from your lower back, moving to the middle back. From your middle back, you move this up to your shoulder blades. Notice your shoulders. And then moving your focus towards your neck. Next breath out, you bring your focus down from your shoulders to your elbows. From our elbows, we move down to our wrists. Remember, we're just looking for sensations. Gently moving to the palms of your hands. using your awareness like a spotlight and then moving it into your fingers, lighting up your fingers. Next breath in, bring your focus to your eyes and begin to notice the darkness. Recognizing that there is a you present that can observe the darkness. Notice nothing else exists at the moment, apart from that which is in your awareness. Sound stop. As you breathe out, you let your eyes soften, and on your next breath in, you bring your focus to your lips. Notice the upper lip. Notice the lower lip. And then gently moving your focus within your mouth. Notice the sensations that are present within the mouth. Sensations on the roof of your mouth. Inside cheeks. Notice your tongue. Allow it to soften. Allow your jaw to soften. And then as you breathe out, you allow your face to soften. Next breath in, once again, become present to the whole body as best as you can. Having scanned your body, notice if there's anything that draws your focus. Locate it. And then gently bring your focus beneath your nose and begin to watch your breath. Stay with your breath, your focus just beneath your nose, and your commitment is to hold your focus there. And simply by watching your breath, you will find the mind begins to still. Every time you find your focus has drifted from your breath, notice where it goes, bringing it back to your breath. Watching the in-breath moving in, watching the out-breath moving out. Allow the breath to breathe by itself. Your commitment is to hold your focus and to become aware of the breath. On your next breath in, you're going to bring your focus within yourself. And by this, we mean what we're thinking and how you are feeling. Notice if there's anything dominant in your mind or on your mind. Any particular thoughts? See if you can notice what your next thought's going to be. Gently bring your focus to your chest and begin to notice the movement of your chest synchronized with your breath. Notice the subtle sensations around your ribs. And on your next breath in, bring your focus a bit deeper into yourself, right where your heart is, or the heart center, right in the middle of your chest, deep inside. And you hold your focus there, waiting to see how you're feeling. Right this moment. How do you feel? Do you feel settled? Comfortable? Is this moment pleasant? Free of suffering? Or are you anxious, irritated, unsettled? How do you feel right this moment? And on your next breath out, open your awareness to all the sounds around you. And you don't want to look for any sound in particular, just simply begin to listen. Allow any sound to come to you. Again, just simply following the bell into the silence as best as you can. Gently bring your focus beneath your nose and once again begin to watch your breath. Notice the in breath has a start and an end, and the out breath has a start and an end. And if you follow your out breath all the way till the end, notice where it finishes. And when it finishes, there's a tiny little gap before the in breath begins. See if you can notice that. Notice how you're breathing now. How does the breath feel? Bring your focus to the sound of your breath if you can. Stay with the sound of your breath. Your next breath out, once again, you're going to open your focus to all the sounds around you, including the sound of your breath. anchored to your breath, but open to all the sounds around you. And then once again, simply following the sound of the bell as best as you can. Gently bring your focus to your experience. Do you feel peaceful? Focus on the peace. If this moment is pleasant, focus on the pleasantness. Notice if there are any thoughts around. Notice how you're feeling. Notice while everything around you is moving, you yourself are still. Thoughts can come and go, comes and goes, yet you remain still. And the more you focus on the calmness or the peace, the deeper it gets. Or the stillness, or the silence, or simply just being present. Gently bring your focus beneath your nose, sitting with your breath in silence. On your next breath out, you're going to focus, open your focus so you become aware of your whole body as best as you can. You're going to notice how the body feels. Is there any discomfort anywhere? Does the body feel still? Does it feel heavy? And then to allow yourself to bring your focus back in the body, bring your focus to the chair that you're sitting on. Notice the sensations where the chair makes contact with you. From those sensations, you become aware of your hips, gently moving your focus down your thighs towards your knees. And then from your knees, you move down towards your ankles. Notice your feet. And then once again, bringing your focus to the soles of your feet. Coming back to the chair, notice the back is straight, shoulders, arms, hands comfortable. Your eyes are closed, your mouth is closed, and your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. And now, as the breath moves in, you can sense your body. As the breath moves out, you can sense your body. Allowing yourself to be present to your body. Breath moves in, you feel calm. Breath moves out, you feel calm. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw some slow, deep breaths in, and in your own good time, gently opening your eyes. Take your time.